Good evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight? So, I'm pacing right now, but I decided that I might as well do my PSA today. I don't really have a set day that I want to do them, but I really like Tuesdays, I really like Wednesdays, so probably on one of those days. But I digress. About if you've read the title of this video, voting. So, public service announcement. If you're going to complain about the political climate in America and you don't vote, that's sort of, I'm not going to say dumb, maybe hypocritical. I know the vote is a couple of weeks away, but I'm deciding to do this video now, so maybe it can circulate in some of y'all's minds and some of y'all will actually get it. It doesn't matter if you're Democratic, it doesn't matter if you're Republican. One of the fundamental rights as an American citizen or someone who has citizenship in America is the right to vote. And I've heard so much nonsense over the past couple of years, especially when it comes to the national anthem and the people, the football players kneeling. When I was in class, there are guys who were like, "Oh, that's so un-American. How dare they?" And some another girl's like, "Oh, well, did you guys vote in this last election?" And they said no. And so that right there got me thinking, like, how can you say what someone else is doing is not American when one of the most American things you can do is vote and you didn't do it? Don't complain about what other people do, especially if it involves them not being American enough, if you don't vote. Now, I'm also going to talk about minority voting. Me being a minority, double minority actually, gay and black. There are a lot of people that expect me not to vote. I actually had a lady come to the house. She was wearing a shirt that said black voter or something. She was white, and she was checking to see if black voters would turn out for this midterm election. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little offended when she came in and she's like, "Okay, so do you plan on voting? Because I don't have you registered." Like, I'm like, "Well, I told you my name is Kyrie, but that's not my legal name." But regardless, I shouldn't have to tell you anything about whether I'm voting or not. I'm not sure what organization she was part of, but she was going around. She was asking if my mom was voting. She asked if my grandmother was voting. I'm like, we all vote. Everyone in my family votes. It's one of our rights. We vote. But if I chose not to vote, what would that mean for me? As a gay black individual? Very little. And I'm not trying to be rude about what I'm about to say, but when it comes to legislation and passing laws, lawmakers aren't thinking about gay black people. I don't think they're thinking about black people in general. I don't think they're thinking about many gay people in general. When I go out and vote, I vote for someone who's going to screw me over the least. It's not about who's going to help me because they're not out to help people like me, and that's just the truth. I voted for Hillary last time because I didn't want to be hurt as much, and I don't think Hillary would have went out of her way to hurt me or people like me as much as Donald Trump. And I'm not saying that I was directly hurt by Donald Trump, but some of his policies have hurt my family. And it is what it is. I don't think Hillary taking office that would have hurt as much. But when people ask why black people don't vote, it's because black people don't matter to the people who run this country. And a lot of black people know that. So for them, whenever it's a non well, not gonna say non-black. Whenever it's a bunch of white guys or white women running for office, a lot of them put their hands up in the air, and say it doesn't really matter who wins, fuck it, because a lot of times that's the truth. And I'm going to say something that some of you may think is controversial, but think about it like this: how often do you see these Democratic leaders running for office in minority churches, whether it's black, Hispanic, or Muslim or anything like that? And like when it's not an election year, I've looked this stuff up. I'm like, okay, so they're going out, they're taking all these photo ops in this predominantly black church, predominantly Muslim church, predominantly Latino church, and I'm like, okay, so they're out there. They want our support. They want our votes. But when it's not a midterm or an election year, where are they? And I know that a lot of people are very upset with the Republican base right now, but I'm just as upset with the Democrats because I feel like they are they're not really doing their job. They're doing a lot of squabbling amongst themselves, and they're doing a lot of posturing and peacocking, and they're not actually here for us. And when the time comes for them to run, they pretend to be here for us. They pretend to go to our churches and smile and shake our hands and say, "Oh, I'm here for the minority voter," but are they really? I don't personally believe they are. But I'm going to go out and vote simply because I have the option of choosing who's going to hurt me the least. And I said it before, I'll say it again. That's the reason why I vote. It may be a very sad reason, but it is a good one. Because if you know that your rights won't be taken care of by a certain individual, then you have to vote for that opponent who may not be there to help your rights, but they're not there to hurt them either. And so, to all of my minority friends out there who think that their vote doesn't matter, it matters, but not in the way that you may want it to matter. If you don't want to be hurt by a certain individual, a certain group, you got to educate yourself. Look at the candidates, not how they're running, but about the policies that they have enacted, the policies that they have been behind in the past before this. Because a lot of the things you see on on the television screens about what they've done, what they're doing, some of that can be twisted up lies, some of that could be half truths. Just go in, because all the things that they've done are public knowledge, public records. They all have receipts out there. If you want to find some receipts on any individual, you can find them very easily. Just look it up. If you feel like that's too much work and you feel that you can just go in and blindly vote, then go in and blindly vote. But if you do that and you get screwed over, that's on you. If you don't go and vote and you feel like you've gotten screwed over, that's on you. Don't complain if you don't educate yourself or if you just don't give a fuck. Don't complain. That's it for me, I guess. This is going on 8 minutes, and it doesn't make me feel good. It's not one of my more feel good videos, but I think it's something that needs to be said because it's my perspective on how voting works for minorities and people on in the out group in general in America. You vote to hurt less. Oh well, I'll get over it.